Morning everybody. Got a little bit of different stuff on today. Wet weather day sort of. Had a lot of rain yesterday, over 30 mil I think. So it's too wet to be doing any sowing, which we wanted to do. So now we're gonna just get a few odd jobs done. The first one being, we're just in the wool shed currently. We've stood all the wool from shearing when we did the lambs earlier in the year. We haven't had a chance to pack it all away. So we're going to try and tidy it all up and get that done, and then that can be sold. So that's the first job we're going to tackle. Then there's a few other jobs that we'll get done as well. Why not?
Oh, hang on. Oh.
Alright, just put all the locks that were under the table in.
A-lambs.
Hey?
A-lambs.
A-lambs, apparently. So what Dad's doing here is putting newspaper in between, well, on top of that wool, and then so we can put a different type of, or different grade of wool on top of it, because you can because it didn't fill the pack, we can separate it, and so we can fit more in there. And what's that come in a bulk class then, when you've got different types? So if there's more than one type of wool, it comes under bulk class. So we separate it with the paper so they know. Alright, so this chaff bag here had some of the dermatitis wool, was it?
Waterstone.
So, because it's such a small amount, we can put it in just a chaff bag and just write on it with what it is, and that should be good enough. Rightio, Dad's just gone into town. So all I gotta do, well, yeah, he's gone into town, left me and Crackers here now. So Crackers is in charge. So I just gotta take the main line lamb's wool, just chuck it in this pack here, and then that should be all done and dusted. We got all them old fleeces that were up the back. I think there was the fleece off Ramsey's when we saw the sheep. A couple of the pets fleeces as well as Casper's fleece too. So they're all packed up into bags. And the buyer will take all that away when he comes and looks. I think he's coming in a couple of weeks to have a look. So it'd be good to get rid of all that, tidy up all that space. And yeah, so we'll get all this stuff done and then I'll be all the wool sorted out. Rightio, just finished packing all the mainline lamb's wool into this pack here. So that's all done and dusted. All the wool's tidied up now, so I get blown around in the shed and roughed up by animals. So it'll be good to get rid of it all and have the wool shed a little bit tidier. And yeah, mum and dad will get a little bit of money from it as well. So yeah, that's the first job knocked down for the day. Next job is going to be service the Polaris quad bike. So I'll take Craigers back up to the house and we'll service the old motorbike. Right, yeah, just in the workshop here with the quad bike. So for long time viewers of the channel will know that I fully rebuilt the engine on this one. It was running really bad and had a few issues. If you're interested in it, I'll leave a link at the end, so you can go back and watch that series. That's if you're interested. So basically all I've had today on it, just to check over, change the oil and filter, shouldn't take too long, and give it a grease, but Dad's got the grease gun with him, so I'm off to grease it when he gets back. So I won't bore you too much with it, but yeah, we'll crack on and get it done and we'll move on to the next job. Taking that oil filter off was a hell of a lot easier than last time. It was tight as buggery last time and I fought it for like at least 15 minutes, I reckon. It's in a prick of a spot. Bloody engineers. I reckon I said that last time too. But yeah, I only sort of nipped it up tight last time so that it wasn't over tight. Don't over tighten your filters because the bloke who's got to service them will struggle. You just want them firm. They're not wheel nuts, so they do not need to be super tight. So yeah, I'll chuck this new oil filter on and we'll fill it up with some oil. The oil was a bit dirty. It is, I think it's about 200 or 300 kilometers overdue for a service. It's just been hard to get to it, to find time to actually do it. So this is good. We can get this done. And I got some extreme duty oil for it. We were just running the normal stuff, but because it gets used like a lot, we'll put some extreme duty in it, and that might be able to extend out the services a little bit, because I think they're only like 1,600 and I'd like to put it out to about 2,000. So yeah, put this new filter on and top it up with oil. New filter's on, time for some fresh oil. Just check the oil again, filter it up. So make sure the level's right, then I'll probably pull the air filter off, give that a blowout. I'm not going to worry about jacking up and checking wheel bearings and all that sort of rubbish. They should be right. Had it all apart only 4,000 k's ago, so they should be pretty good. I know it needs a rubber boot on one of the CV joints, so I'll grab one of those. I'm not going to replace the whole CV like last time. I think we can just get a boot on there, give it a clean, and just pack some new grease in there. It should be okay because it's only a front one. It's not always in four-wheel drive, so it's not too critical. So I'll quickly do that, and then I'll have to wait for Dad to get back with the grease gun so I can grease all the suspension, because he's got that with him. And that'll be pretty much it. They're pretty easy to service, these old bikes. I don't know what the newer ones are like. They're probably a bit similar. Yeah, there's not a great deal to them. I think the main thing that flogs out is just the suspension. But yeah, I think it's not such a big deal though. Yeah, so I'll quickly do all that. Service is done on the Polaris. Just got to grease it, do that once Dad gets back. Other than that, she's all ready to go. So I filled out its book and updated our service board to make sure that everybody knows what it's due for next and when. Yeah, seems to be alright, so that's a good thing. As I said, I'll leave a card at the end if you're interested in the rebuild series on it, and yeah, you can go view that after. Alright, just over at the combine at the moment. Kind of still wet to say, we're just going to do a little job on it. Much to actually do to it, we'd probably just have to check it over and give it graze and all that sort of stuff. But the little hectare counting box that counts how much you've sowed, last year, I think it was not counting, probably it was like counting a lot lower than what we'd actually sowed. And Dad had pulled it apart once before and like cleaned it all up and unstuck it because I must have had some dirt or something in there, season it up. So we're going to try and do the same thing, pull it apart and clean it and make sure it's not broken, and then just put it back together. Yeah, so Dad's pulled it apart before, I've never seen inside it, so we'll try and get it apart without damaging anything.
Leave that go. Go if you drop something else.
Huh?
See on. There's no teeth worn.
No, it doesn't look like it, but I assume that's meant to spin.
Yeah, I sprayed some of that.
Whatever you spray is red greasy. I wonder why that's
Some of that.
spinning.
What do you call it? Tacky grease stuff on there. What's on the?
Oh, yes, obviously when this thing turns to a certain point, it locks into there, then spins that. So I wonder if that is somehow skipping.
Is that too small?
Yeah. Maybe like a 10.
Hey?
It's like a 10 or something. I'll have to get a white paint pen. Writing numbers on.
Yeah, turning it the right way.
Yeah, it only goes one way.
Well, hang on then. Hang on to everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
so what if for whatever reason it's slipping?
Should that be locked in there?
No, that has to spin so that when that, say like that, because then when this one comes around, does a full turn, then it locks on this one and then spins this one, which spins your meter.
Is that worn in there?
No, the problem is it's slipping.
This is slipping.
Yeah, well, see how I'm turning it? It's not spinning?
No,
That's the problem.
pull it out. That should be a circlip there, should it? Well, where's... This is supposed to be sitting in there.
Yeah, I think it's the bearings is the problem. It's all dirty in there. That should all spin freely with the rod. See?
Right.
So then we need to pull all that out and clean it.
Right. Where are you going to do that? Here?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. I don't know what would we put back in that, just like the sort of grace. Should we put grease or just lube it or something?
Well, was there anything in there?
Only what you've put on, all that sticky shit.
Well, I've never... Maybe that was the wrong stuff.
I got a feeling it should be dry.
I reckon it should be dry too.
Yeah, so maybe we just brake clean it.
Right.
Just grab some brake clean and a magnetic tray. Alright, so as you can see, we've pulled the metering box, well, the little counter box apart. And this assembly here with all the gears on it, which drives the numbers, it seems to be binding up a little bit. It's like not really going like it should. Anyway, in this little area here, there's 3 roller bearings, well, 3 rollers really, that don't seem to be spinning like they should. So we're going to clean it all up and dry it out and put it back together and see if that improves it. Because it's got like a sticky sort of film on it all that Dad might have put on there when he pulled it apart, and that might be causing the problem. So we'll clean it all up and put it together dry, and that might sort the problem out. Alright, so we've been dicking around for quite a while now. As you saw, there was those little roller spring arrangements, which is in that brass bit. And there's another part inside this black part as well. I'll pull both those apart. Managed to lose one of the springs in all the crap on the ground. It still seems to work. We cleaned it all up. Sprayed it with brake clean. Made it so it's all nice and dry. And now we're just testing it then. It seems to spin better. It's not slipping like it was before. So we're going to try and reassemble the box back together. And then... well, we won't be able to test it properly, but hopefully we'll get it back together and it should be okay for when we're sewing. So we'll get it all back on and come back to this. Alright, the counting box is on there. So we've got it all back together and I gave it a quick test. Seems to be working alright. Zeros properly, so that's all good. But I guess the proof will be in the pudding for when we actually start sewing, and we'll see how accurate it is. With how many acres we sow. So hopefully that works. It was a pain in the ass. I don't want to have to pull it back apart again. Yeah, so that's done. That was probably the biggest thing we had to do to the combine before we use it this year anyway. All we'll have to do is just bring it out, check it over, give it a grease, and just make sure nothing's like falling off or loose or anything like that. But that's that done. So what I'm doing now is gonna hook the trailer up to the little tractor. We're gonna move this bale of lucerne out of the way. Then we're gonna move the bale, the square bale pickup out of the way. We're not moving this, I don't think. Dad said we weren't gonna move it. I don't know if he's changed his mind now or not. But I think we're just gonna get this crap out of the way so we don't have to do it later on. So I'll hook all this stuff up and we'll get the John Deere ready and move that bale out of the way. Alright, so we moved that bale of lucerne out of the way of the combine and chucked it on that trailer. Dad's going to feed it out tomorrow, I think, to the cattle. And we're just back to back in the shed, didn't get wet if it rains. So that's pretty much it done for the day. So hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright.